Watching now is President-elect Donald Trump and incoming First Lady Melania Trump leave St. John's Episcopal Church. They are only on a short drive, though. They are headed to the White House, which is just across Lafayette Park from the church. Walking into the Capitol.
Awaiting them in the rotunda already, you have Congress's top officials. You have House Speaker Mike Johnson, a Republican, who has very closely allied himself with the incoming president, saying to him, it's bright, sunny outside and bright in our heart. Then you have the Senate's top Democrat, Chuck Schumer, who walked in carrying a royal blue cap, and when asked how he feels today, said, feel great about the Bills. Now, that comes after the Buffalo Bills. Schumer, of course, from New York, beat the Baltimore Ravens last night to advance to the AFC Championship. So it was a way for Chuck Schumer to get in a plug for a home state team on the day after a big NFL playoff weekend.
We see these arrivals starting to happen there at the U.S. Capitol. We understand there were some other officials there in the motorcade with the president and president-elect as they were making their way into the U.S. Capitol. Amy Klobuchar, the senator, as we just referenced earlier, but also some other elected officials, including Deb Fischer of Nebraska, and then also House lawmakers, Steve Scalise, Representative Hakeem Jeffries, and other White House staff and officials accompanying the President, First Lady, incoming President and First Lady, and then, of course, Vice President Kamala Harris, her husband, and J.D. Vance and his wife. We just saw J.D. Vance and Usha Vance exiting their limousine, walking into the White House, or to the U.S. Capitol.
You see even police officers who are used to this kind of thing in Washington want to get their picture taken in front of the helicopter. That's quite a shot for that officer to have. Marine One sitting in front of the Capitol dome.
Not something you see all the time.
No. And you would note the flags. That one flag you can see flying in front of the Capitol dome back up at full staff after they had been lowered for the Jimmy Carter warning.
We see now people from that motorcade have been making their way into the Capitol. That includes President-elect Donald Trump. We're looking now inside the Capitol Rotunda. There you see Elon Musk, one of those businessmen who are invited to be part of this very small, relatively speaking,
by the oldest man to take the oath as president in Donald Trump.
We're seeing now some members of the incoming Trump administration.
Kevin Hassett, who is looking to come back as the Trump White House's top economist after serving in that role in the first Trump administration. Tulsi Gabbard, who would be the national intelligence chief. Pam Bondi, Doug Burgum, all lined up there to watch the man they hope is their boss to be taking the oath. We'll be speaking at the parade of sorts inside Capital One Arena.
Ladies and gentlemen, former Vice Presidents, the Honorable Dan Quayle, accompanied by Mrs. Marilyn Quayle, and the Honorable Michael Pence. Ladies and gentlemen, the 42nd President of the United States, the Honorable William J. Clinton, accompanied by the Honorable Hillary Rodham Clinton. Ladies and gentlemen, the 43rd President of the United States, the Honorable George W. Bush, accompanied by Mrs. Laura Bush. Ladies and gentlemen, the 44th President of the United States, the Honorable Barack H. Obama. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Justice of the United States, the Honorable John G. Roberts, Jr., and the Associate Justices of the Supreme Court of the United States. Tiffany Trump and Barron Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, escorting Dr. Biden and Mr. Emhoff, the Republican Staff Director of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, Ms. Emily Leviner, the Senate Secretary for the Minority, the Honorable Gary Myrick, the House of Representatives Chief Administrative Officer, the Honorable Catherine Spindor, and Mr. Bruce Fisher. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jill Biden and Mr. Douglas Emhoff. ladies and gentlemen, performing "O America," please welcome the Armed Forces Chorus and America's tenor, Christopher D. Macchio.
To thee I will be. Oh, America, no weeping, let there be no wounded heart. I will keep you till there be from your mountains grand and go through this land. You are beautiful to me. Oh, America, you're calling. Oh, I can hear you calling me. You're calling me. To pay to thee, to thee, oh, I will be. And we will be as
The Honorable Jackie Barber, the Clerk of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Kevin F. McCumber, Mr. John Bessler, Mrs. Kelly Johnson, Mrs. Iris Weinshaw Schumer, and Mrs. Jennifer Scalise. The Honorable Jackie Barber, the Clerk of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Kevin F. McCumber, Mr. John Bessler, Mrs. Kelly Johnson, Mrs. Iris Weinshaw Schumer, and Mrs. Jennifer Scalise.
Calling me to pay true to thee, true to thee, I will be. Oh, America, no weeping, let there be no wounded heart. I will keep you in my keeping till there be mountains grand and go through this land. You are beautiful to me. Oh, America, you're calling. Oh, I can hear you calling me. You are calling me to pay true to thee, true to thee. Oh, I will be. And we will be as oh, America, you're calling. Oh, whenever I'm
The Honorable Jackie Barber, the Clerk of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Kevin F. McCumber, Mr. John Bessler, Mrs. Kelly Johnson, Mrs. Iris Weinshaw Schumer, and Mrs. Jennifer Scalise. Ladies and gentlemen, escorting the President of the United States and the Vice President of the United States, Ranking Member of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, the Honorable Deb Fischer, House Democratic Leader, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries, and Senate Majority Secretary, the Honorable Robert Duncan. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, the Honorable Joseph R. Biden, Jr., and Vice President of the United States, the Honorable Kamala Devi Harris. Ladies and gentlemen, escorting the Vice President-elect, the Executive Director for the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, Mr. Michael Wagner, Senate Deputy Sergeant-at-Arms and Doorkeeper, Jason Bell, and House Deputy Sergeant-at-Arms, Mr. Sean Keating. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President-elect of the United States, the Honorable J.D. Vance. Ladies and gentlemen, escorting the President-elect, the Staff Director for the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, Elizabeth Farah, House Sergeant-at-Arms, the Honorable William P. McFarland, Senate Sergeant-at-Arms and Doorkeeper, the Honorable Jennifer A. Hemingway, Senate Majority Leader, the Honorable John Thune, and the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, House Democratic Leader, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries, House Majority Leader, the Honorable Steve Scalise, Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Mike Johnson, Senate Democratic Leader, the Honorable Charles E. Schumer, Ranking Member of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, the Honorable Deb Fischer, and Chairwoman of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, the Honorable Amy Klobuchar. Ladies and gentlemen, the President-elect of the United States, the Honorable Donald John Trump.
make men holy. Let us try to make men free while God is marching on.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, James David Vance, do solemnly swear
I, James David Vance, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
on which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, James David Vance, do solemnly swear
I, James David Vance, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.